Hi, this is the Bogner Uberschall. This is the Bogner Uberschall Twinjet model with the KT88 tubes. And here we're going to test a couple of things. Um, I'm doing this demo because it's hard to find demos of this amp with the settings shown. And right now I have the clean channel, no effects in the loop, no overdrive pedal. I have the first channel, most of the dials, knobs set to noon. So let's have a look at it. I'm going to just do some power chords and some just real basic things, nothing fancy. So I'm using my Kiesel Vader headless guitar with humbucker lithium pickups. I barely have the master volume turned up. As you can tell, it's quite loud. I have it hooked up to my orange 4x12 cab with V30 speakers. I have an Uberkab coming that has a different speaker setup, and I'll do a back-to-back test of the same settings later once that arrives this week. That has the V30s and I think the G12 speakers. I'll double check that. So the clean channel is good for hard rock type stuff. If you're going to do any like AC/DC, anything like that. And yes, my guitar is badly out of tune. I'm just doing this to show you the tone differences between the channels and between the two cabs once the Uberkab arrives. And I haven't warmed up, so my playing is not the best. So I just want you to hear the tone differences. For the master, I'm keeping the depth and the presence set to about noon, and volume's pretty low. I hear on these you need to crank the volume on the master up a lot to get good saturation. I have an attenuator coming this next week to try that out. It's 150 watts for fire breathing power, and even on a clean channel it's pretty good for rock tones. So let's dial back the gain a bit and see what we can get here. Now with this amp, if you have the gain set low, you need the master volume and a channel volume set pretty loud to hear it compared to the high gain second channel. So it's actually a pretty good clean. People complain about the Uberschall as having a really poor clean channel, but it's actually not bad. It's definitely better than the 6505 I had and the other big amps I've tried. I'm sure the Mesas have a better clean channel, and I think Diesel has a better clean channel. But anyways, now let's try the second channel. This is why you buy the amp. You'll hear the difference. Oh my God, I gotta turn this down. I'm gonna bump up the presence on this because that gives a nice thump. Turn the master volume down, turn the gain down a bit. Let's see. Yeah, you heard that. That's really loud. Let's try it again. Good Lord, something is causing that. I just got this. Set the presence low. I just got this amp, so I'm still learning. It's very tricky to get right. Well, it's sounding like crap. My attenuator. So that's why this is going to sound kind of. See, the volume is very sensitive. I have the presence really low. Def I'm going to keep at noon. Let's see if I can get. Let me turn the master volume down. I'm going to set these to noon just for fun. See what we got. Okay. Yeah, that was a operator error on my part. Chugging and do some other stuff. And here I noticed I got the second channel, the switches, knobs are set to about 11 o'clock for the volume, about noon for presence, noon for treble, about 1 o'clock for middle, 1 o'clock for bass, and about 1 o'clock for gain. Now, Bogner says in their manual, let me turn my volume down. They give you a cute little printout here. So they actually say in their manual, it says, before you turn amp on, read the manual. Okay, we get it. So, and then the recommendations Bogner makes in their manual, so actually you can see it here in their manual, a high gain channel. So let's try what Bogner says, because I want to see if that actually sounds any good. So volume at 1 o'clock. So now, unfortunately, these don't have a label that tell you what the numbers are. And you got to kind of guess like a clock. So I know some people know this already, but I haven't had an amp like this. Most of the amps I have numbers on them, so it makes it easier for me. And they say 1 o'clock, so I'm going to take this as 1 o'clock. It's kind of like their 0 point when you're 0 dial and amping. And bass, 1 o'clock. And it says, be very careful of this one, not too much. Okay, so maybe we'll just keep this at noon and gain at 1 o'clock. And I've heard presence, they said presence. On the master, I'm just going to put a little presence, not much. Def, I really like. This really thumps the amp and it sounds really awesome. So let's try it in the settings. And if I have this wrong, then you guys can, chime in. Okay, let's see what it does. I'm going to just do some basic chugging. It's like my 1605 is the same way. I had to use an attenuator it was on, and I use EQ pedals and stuff like that. I still have to get the right settings for all on this amp. So let's see. It says the pushing the presence control to maximum will allow you to cut a sonic path through the mix. So if you want a scoop sound, you know, they talk about the presence control. So we're not going to mess with that on the master, but on this channel, let's see what the presence does if we change it. So right now we have it on that. Let's turn it back and see what it does. I'm not going to change anything else. I'm just going to put the presence to 9 o'clock or about 9 o'clock. To noon, see what it does. I just wanted, this is like one thing they mentioned in the manual. See what it does. The presence does make a big difference, especially when you do the interaction between the master presence and the channel presence. It seems to alter the tone quite a bit. So let's keep the presence where it's at. Sounds okay. Let's turn the bass back, and mids are okay. Let's dial back the gain, see what it sounds like. Because I've been hearing a lot less gain is really what you need. And let me get my camera. It's kind of screwed up right now. Sorry about that. So let's go ahead and try that. So, this is just a quick demo. I just got this amp. It sounds really massive. It is going to need an attenuator because it's really loud. I'm glad I have a house because I probably would have got evicted if I played this in my apartment I was renting. So, I'm probably going to need a noise gate. Hear that hiss? I don't like when there's a lot of hiss on an amp. And so it definitely needs a noise gate. One thing about the angle amps to compare is the high-end angles have a noise gate built in, which is really smart. Comparing this to the other amps I play, like Angle, it's a lot less saturated and compressed. It has a lot more open, in-your-face sound. It's really powerful. So I really like it so far. It's just gonna take, time to get used to it. So yeah, and just getting used to how it all works. Let me put it on standby. Yeah, see, hear that difference in the hiss? I actually gotta ask Bogner if that's because I just need to use a noise gate. And when I bought this, I bought it from Sweetwater. They're really good. Service. It didn't come with a power cable and some other stuff. So luckily, I was able to kind of take a power cable I had, and it works fine and didn't wreck the amp. So it's got really good effects that I'm still getting used to. Anyways, this is just my first playthrough of the amp, and it's really loud and really powerful. So I think I'm looking forward. I probably want to cut it with another amp. I've heard like Tool is one of my favorite metal bands, and I think they cut a Uberschall with a Diesel VH4 and a Mesa. I have to look. They have a diagram of how they have their amp set up. So anyways, I'll catch you later. Cheers.